remember our first argument must have been in Spellbound in 1945. Something I said, oh, I don't feel like that. I don't think I can give you that kind of emotion. And you sat there and you said, Ingrid, fake it.
In 1949, Ingrid Bergman, Hollywood's radiant star, penned a letter that would ignite a firestorm. If you need a Swedish actress, I am ready to come and make a film with you. That single act of courage plunged her into a scandal that shattered her world. Yet from the ashes of public scorn, she rose stronger, crafting performances that still echo today. This is the untold story of a woman who lived unapologetically no matter the cost. In her 1980 memoir, Ingrid Bergman, My Story, co-written with Alan Burgess, Ingrid Bergman laid bare the triumphs and heartaches that defined her remarkable life. From the glittering heights of Hollywood to a scandal that nearly derailed her career, her journey was as dramatic as the roles she played. But what transformed a shy Swedish girl into a global icon? To understand the woman who captivated millions, we must start in Stockholm, where tragedy and talent forged an extraordinary path. On August 29, 1915, Ingrid Bergman was born in Stockholm, Sweden, to Justus Samuel Bergman, a Swedish artist and photographer, and Friedel Adler Bergman, a German mother. Named after Princess Ingrid of Sweden, she was their only surviving child after the loss of 2 infants. Her early years were marked by sorrow when her mother passed away at just 2 years old. Justus, who ran a camera shop, filled Ingrid's childhood with photographs and home movies, perhaps sparking her ease in front of a lens. I was perhaps the most photographed child in Scandinavia, she later quipped to biographer Charlotte Chandler. But at 12, her world shattered again when her father succumbed to stomach cancer. Briefly cared for by her Aunt Ellen, who died 9 months later, Ingrid, then 13, moved in with her uncle's family. Amid this grief, acting became her refuge. Though shy off stage, she transformed in the spotlight, revealing a gift for conveying raw emotion. Could this quiet girl really conquer the world's stages? Determined to chase her passion, Ingrid enrolled at Stockholm's prestigious Royal Dramatic Theatre School in 1933, following in the footsteps of legends like Greta Garbo. Her talent shone brightly, and within a year she'd landed her first credited role in Munkbrogreven, 1935, a Swedish film. Her breakthrough came with Intermezzo, 1936, where she played a pianist entangled in a forbidden romance with a married violinist. Her luminous performance captivated audiences and caught the attention of American producer David O. Selznick. At just 21, Ingrid was poised to take on Hollywood. But would the glamour of Tinseltown embrace this unpolished newcomer? In 1939, Ingrid arrived in Hollywood to star in the American remake of Intermezzo alongside Leslie Howard. Unlike the era's heavily made-up stars, her natural beauty and authentic style, marked by minimal makeup and a gentle Swedish accent, set her apart. Audiences were enchanted by her Nordic freshness and vitality as the saint. James Encyclopedia of Popular Culture noted, Life magazine praised her professionalism, declaring, "All Bergman vehicles are blessed, with no hint of diva-like temperament." Under Selznick's guidance, she thrived, embracing challenging roles that showcased her depth. "I am an actress, and I am interested in acting, not in making money," she once said, reflecting her dedication to her craft. Her swift rise made her one of Hollywood's most sought-after stars, but could she sustain such meteoric success? The early 1940s were a golden era for Ingrid, as she delivered performances that defined a generation. In 1942, she starred opposite Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, a film that remains a cinematic touchstone. As Ilse Lund, a woman torn between love and duty, her heartfelt portrayal became iconic, especially in the poignant scenes at Rick's Cafe. Her ability to convey complex emotions through subtle gestures mesmerized audiences. Film critic Roger Ebert noted her unique gift. She doesn't simply gaze at his eyes, she peers into the eyes, searching for meaning and clues. Her downcast eyes, darting with emotion, added depth to her roles, as seen in Casablanca and beyond. How did she capture such raw vulnerability on screen? In 1944, Ingrid took on Gaslight, portraying a woman manipulated into questioning her sanity. Her raw, gripping performance earned her the first of 3 Academy Awards, proving her dramatic prowess. Directed by George Cukor, the film grossed $4.6 million, equivalent to $83 million today, with The Hollywood Reporter calling it extraordinary. 2 years later, she starred in Alfred Hitchcock's notorious 1946, alongside Cary Grant, weaving a tale of espionage and passion. Her ability to blend elegance with intensity solidified her reputation. She got her greatest effects by swooping her eyes down to the floor and darting them back and forth, wrote critic Susan Kerr, highlighting her signature style. Ingrid's performances weren't just acting, they were revelations of the human spirit. But what drove her to seek new challenges beyond Hollywood's glamour? By the late 1940s, despite her triumphs, Ingrid felt confined by Hollywood's formulaic roles. Craving artistic freedom, she turned to Italian director Roberto Rossellini, whose neo-realist films like Rome, Open City, and Paisa had captivated her. In a bold move, she penned a now-famous letter in 1947. "Dear Mr. Rossellini, I saw your films. Rome, Open City, and Paisa, and enjoyed them very much. If you need a Swedish actress who speaks English very well, and in Italian knows only ti amo, I am ready to come and make a film with you." This letter, sent care of his studio, sparked a collaboration that would redefine her career. Moving to Italy, she starred in Stromboli, 1950, Europa 51, 1952, and Journey to Italy, 1954. Though not immediate hits, these films were later celebrated for their innovative storytelling, influencing modern cinema. Yet, something even more transformative was brewing. What would happen when professional admiration turned personal? Ingrid's personal life was as complex as her roles. In 1937, at 21, she married Peter Aaron Lindström, a Swedish dentist who later became a neurosurgeon. Their daughter Pia, born in 1938, grew up largely in Sweden while Ingrid pursued her career abroad. Peter managed her affairs, supporting her ambitions, but the physical and emotional distance strained their marriage. As Ingrid's fame grew, so did the cracks in their relationship. Her immersion in Hollywood and her yearning for artistic fulfillment pulled her further from the traditional family life they once shared. By the late 1940s, while working on Stromboli, Ingrid's admiration for Rossellini deepened into a passionate romance. Both married to others, their affair would soon ignite a firestorm that shook Hollywood and beyond. How would this bold choice reshape her legacy? Reflecting on her life, Ingrid wrote in her memoir, "I have no regrets. I wouldn't have lived my life the way I did if I was going to worry about what people were going to say." This fearless spirit defined her, guiding her through triumphs and challenges. As she stood at the crossroads of her career and personal life, the world watched, captivated by her courage and vulnerability. Ingrid Bergman's life, already a tapestry woven with triumphs and heartaches, plunged into a storm that would test her spirit like never before. As the 1950s dawned, the world that once crowned her, a cinematic queen, turned against her with a vengeance. Her passionate affair with Italian director Roberto Rossellini, ignited while she was still bound to Peter Lindström, sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. When she gave birth to their daughter, Isabella, in 1952, the whispers of scandal erupted into a deafening roar. Hate mail poured in, each letter a jagged wound to her legacy. "You have betrayed your family and shamed your nation," one scrawled. Another hissed, "You are no longer welcome here." Even the U.S. Senate joined the fray, with Senator Edwin C. Johnson branding her a powerful influence for evil, and proposing to license performers to curb such behavior. The venom was relentless, her films boycotted, her name struck from American screens. Could a star so adored fall so far, and would she ever rise again? Their union, forged in London's Caxton Hall, brought a sense of stability she hadn't known in years. Schmidt, a steady hand, managed her financial affairs and championed her stage work, from Paris's acclaimed Tea and Sympathy to her Emmy-winning television roles in The Turn of the Screw and A Woman Called Golda. Summers on his private island off Sweden's coast became a refuge, a place where Bergman could reconnect with her roots and her children. Though their marriage spanned nearly 2 decades, it too ended in 1975, strained by demanding schedules and Schmidt's later infidelity. Yet, even after their parting, he remained a loyal friend, standing by her side until the end. How did this woman, so often at the mercy of public judgment, find the strength to rebuild time and again? Amid these personal tides, Bergman's reflections often turned to the luminaries who shaped her craft. One figure stood out: Gregory Peck, her co-star in 1945's Spellbound. In her memoir, she called him massive, a word that captured not just his towering frame, but the depth of his soul. He filled a room, she wrote, not with arrogance, but with a quiet, commanding presence. Their time together, both on and off the set, was electric, marked by a brief but profound connection that neither fully acknowledged publicly until years later. Peck, speaking in 1987, admitted, "I was young. She was young." Bergman marveled at his integrity, his ability to make every conversation feel vital. "You couldn't lie to him," she confessed. "His eyes saw through you, urging you to be honest." Their chemistry in Spellbound was undeniable, her lines sometimes forgotten not from nerves but from being swept away by his presence. Peck's humility, his belief in hard-earned goodness, left an imprint on her, a reminder that true greatness lay in authenticity. Could one man's quiet strength change the way she saw herself? As Bergman continued to captivate audiences, a new shadow loomed. In 1973, during the London run of The Constant Wife, she noticed a troubling lump beneath her left breast. Ever disciplined, she sought answers swiftly, only to face a devastating truth: breast cancer. "The doctor came, and I could read his face as an open book," she later wrote in her memoir. Undeterred, she pressed on, delivering a tour de force performance in Murder on the Orient Express in 1974, earning her 3rd Oscar, and later in Autumn Sonata in 1978, a role that bared her soul. Despite undergoing mastectomies and battling lymphedema, she refused to let the disease define her. "Cancer victims who don't accept their fate," she wrote, "will only destroy what little time they have left." Her daughter Isabella later recalled, "Mama suffered for 9 years, but she faced it with grace and courage." As Bergman stood on stage, her radiance undimmed, the world watched a woman who turned pain into art. Years later, while immersed in the raw intensity of Autumn Sonata, in 1978, Bergman felt the cancer's cruel return. Another lump emerged, a haunting echo of her earlier ordeal, pulling her from the set to London for a second surgery. Directed by Ingmar Bergman, no relation, she poured her soul into a role that mirrored her own emotional turmoil, delivering a performance critics would later call a masterpiece. The parallels were uncanny. As her character wrestled with inner conflict, Bergman grappled with her mortality. Reviews from the time, such as those in Variety, 1978, praised her ability to convey a lifetime of suppressed pain in the film, a testament to her skill in blending art with life. How could she channel such pain into art so profound? This moment marked a convergence of her personal and professional lives, a theme that defined her later years. Even as her body weakened, Bergman's spirit refused to yield. Post-surgery, she dove into rehearsals for the 1978 television adaptation of Waters of the Moon, her work ethic unshaken by the disease's relentless advance. In 1981, she embraced one of her most daring roles, portraying Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir in A Woman Called Golda. Frail and altered by treatments, she infused the character with a quiet strength that left audiences in awe. The grueling production pushed her to her physical limits, yet she completed it with unwavering professionalism. Her performance earned posthumous Emmy and Golden Globe Awards, a testament to her enduring brilliance. Web sources note that Bergman studied Meir's speeches extensively, even mimicking her accent despite her own weakened state. What drove her to perform through such hardship? Her daughter Isabella later said, "Mama saw acting as her way of defying the disease." After A Woman Called Golda, Bergman retreated from the spotlight, settling into her apartment in Cheney Gardens, a tranquil enclave near the Thames favored by London's artistic elite. Once a haven, it became a place of solitude where she faced her illness in private, undergoing regular chemotherapy. The vibrant star who had captivated millions now waged a silent battle, her strength drawn from within. Outside, paparazzi and fans gathered, hoping for a glimpse of the legend. But Bergman, ever protective of her dignity, stayed out of sight, preserving the image of the radiant icon the world adored. Could she maintain her grace under such relentless scrutiny? Reports from the time describe fans leaving flowers and notes outside her building, a sign of her enduring impact. Her choice to remain private reflected a lifelong balance between public adoration and personal integrity. The cancer's toll grew heavier. It spread to her spine, fracturing a vertebra and causing excruciating pain that limited her mobility. Her right lung ceased to function, and only a fragment of her left lung remained, making each breath a labor. Yet, even in these darkest moments, Bergman's inner fire burned bright. "Those who surrender to their fate lose the time they have left," she wrote in her memoir, a mantra that guided her through the pain. Her daughter Isabella later reflected, "Mama faced her suffering with courage, never letting it define her." Medical records, as cited in biographies, indicate she endured lymphedema and severe fatigue, yet continued correspondence with friends, maintaining her warmth. How did she find such resilience in the face of such odds? On August 29, 1982, just after midnight, Ingrid Bergman slipped away in her London apartment, her passing coinciding with her 67th birthday, a poignant symmetry to a life lived fully. Surrounded by loved ones, including her former husband Lars Schmidt, with whom she shared a warm bond, her departure was peaceful. Hours earlier, they had raised glasses in a bittersweet toast, honoring a woman whose light had touched the world. By her bedside lay The Little Prince, open to a passage near its end, its themes of innocence and loss echoing her own reflections. Web research highlights that Bergman cherished the book's message, often quoting it in letters to friends. What final thoughts did she carry in those quiet moments? The intimacy of this scene underscores her humanity, a stark contrast to her larger-than-life persona.